Hello everybody, welcome to Toyah at Home. It's so lovely to be talking to you again. I've had a wonderful 24 hours getting our Christmas room ready and Frippy hasn't seen it yet. Robert!
Hello Larry, what's up?
I want you to come and look at something.
Hi sweetie, I was just off to the gym, but I'll be right up.
You can see this reaction, because he loves Christmas. Here he comes. Here he comes. I'm in the big room, Bug.
Oh, lovely.
It's Christmas.
Oh, lovely.
And look, your presents.
Oh, sweetie. Oh.
You like Christmas, don't you?
Oh, I love Christmas. But look at our Christmas trees, loving. You put. Do people realise these are all your family decorations?
I'm gonna mention it in a minute. So
sweetie,
you better get off to the gym. But you're okay, are you?
Yeah, for our pals at home, coming home at Christmas off a tour was the moment of the year when everything came together. And for my wife to make a fuss of me and put all this out means so much to me. Thank you, sweetie.
If he was on tour, he'd still be in Japan now. So many times he comes back from Japan about the 22nd of December, and I have a husband who is completely comatose. I mean, he just can't move. He's so tired. So I've got you home for Christmas.
Thank you, sweetie.
So you're going to the gym?
After the gym.
So everybody, I hope you're all well and that you're having a good week. I wanted to show you these. These are memory trees. We don't have real Christmas trees anymore for obvious reasons, meaning ecology and all of that. So we put these trees up and they are family memories. And I wanted to show you these because I've been hearing from quite a few bereaved people this week. So when I say a memory tree, this is the time of year when we remember our families. So this was my mother's. She absolutely adored fairies. And this was, I believe, my paternal grandmother's. So that is really old. That's probably about 1890. This also is very old. It's paper mache, and it's been in my family since I was born, so I imagine that's probably about 1920. And of course I can't have Christmas unless I've got my Bowie baubles. This is from San Francisco, from Robert's sister, so that connects us to San Francisco. And I want to show you something else. There's some very interesting stories. When I cleared my mother's cottage, she passed away in 2011, we found these in boxes, and my mother was very much like a teddy bear doll person, and she'd never unpacked them, and we wondered why, and we realised she'd left them for me. And we found a lot of things that she had just prepped for the time when she was no longer here. So the memory trees for us are incredibly powerful. And they're a really lovely addition to Christmas. So I thought I'd introduce you to those in case it gives you ideas and it helps you remember your family who can't be with you, say, this Christmas, is to put a memory tree up. Anyway, on a really up note, this is our first song today, and it's Trading Boundaries, and it is Be Proud, Be Loud, Be Heard. You give me fire, fire in my soul. I think I've been here long ago before. As a child divine takes a dance floor on a halo of light, he moves the night. Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? And now I'm spinning, I'm really spinning. give me fire, fire, fire. You've really got a look in your eyes tonight. Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be proud. Fire in my soul, I think I've been here before. As a child divine takes the dance floor. On a halo of light, he moves the night. And I'm falling into his eyes. Give me fire, give me hunger, so deep. Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be proud, be proud, be proud. You send me spinning, I'm really spinning. Oh, around and around with my feet off the ground. Stop, I'm gonna tumbling down. You give me fire, fire, fire. You really got that look in your eyes tonight. Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Can you hear the word? Be proud, be loud, be heard. Be proud, be loud, be heard. That was the brilliant Chris Wong on guitar. Also on guitar, the late great Colin Hines, and stunning Mike Nichols on bass at Trading Boundaries, where we cannot wait to get back and play. And that was Be Proud, Be Loud, Be Heard. I have lovely questions this week. I really am so looking forward to this. John Wayne of Ruby's. If you look Ruby's up online, John Wayne makes all of this big glam stuff. I was wearing this in my Sunday lunch video 2 weeks ago. It's just absolutely gorgeous stuff. Brooch. He made me these bangles, which I used to wear on stage. I get many rings off him. John Wayne asked me if I have memories I want to talk about of doing cabaret with Wayne Sleep in the West End. I think this was about 1985 or 86. It was great fun, and one of the privileges of doing this West End show was Gillian Lynn was the choreographer and director. She was magnificent, and I went along to meet her. At the time, I was making Desire at Abbey Road with Mike Hedges producing, and Gillian Lynn asked if I'd go along and just go on stage at the Strand Theatre and dance in front of her to see if I could play Sally Bowles in Cabaret. Now, anyone who's seen me live knows that I'm about that tall. And hats off to Gillian Lynn, because she could see me as Sally Bowles and totally believed in me. And it was a wonderful company. The play was already running and they needed to replace the leading lady. And Gillian Lynn offered me the job, which was mind-blowing. And it kind of set me in a pace I'd never quite been in before, because Gillian is a very strict choreographer. And I lost weight very quickly, and I can remember the girls in the chorus who were all divine. One of them was Janie D, on her way up, ascending, and she was gorgeous to work with and beautiful to watch on stage. She just glowed. And I remember Janie D saying to me one day, "Toyah, you're getting so skinny. You look fabulous." So I think what she meant by that was my legs were starting to look longer because I was losing my studio chubbiness. Because when you're in a studio making an album, you're not running around, you are very, very fixed, and you're listening, you're at the mixing desk, your body does become kind of lax. I remember Wayne Sleep as being Wayne Sleep. You know, he was just glorious to work with. And our rehearsal period was very, very quick because obviously the cast were already doing 8 shows a week. So I sat in on those 8 shows so I could study the whole show and take the weight off the cast's shoulders, that they didn't have to walk me through everything and teach me everything. And I am a very quick, did you see that? I'm a very quick visual learner. So that's how I picked the show up. And Gillian Lynn, and I think Denny was the assistant choreographer. Lovely, lovely Denny. Her surname will come to me. She was marvellous. I went on to play Hermia opposite her Puck at Birmingham Rep about 4 years later. So, I've gone and said so again, forgive me. Gillian Lynn was fabulous to me. Very, very strict. Very, very stern about posture and the kind of accuracy of movement. But I think what she really liked in me is that I was a real person, as if off the street, who had ended up in Berlin as a cabaret artist and honed the character in front of an audience rather than being a showgirl. And critically, it worked. Wayne, I remember, went off on holiday about a month into the show, and very interestingly, he packed up his dressing room, and we all discussed this because we thought, why has he done that? And then there was a strike, and this is quite famous. This made it onto national news and international news. There was a strike from the musicians in the pit who wanted to be paid more. And Gillian Lynn was adamant this would not stop the show. And we'd already had quite a few things to deal with. We were suffering huge blizzards at this time of year. It was opened in February, end of February into March. There were blizzards that were stopping the whole of England travelling. So we were playing to, I think, 50 people some nights because London was just snowed in. But then this strike happened, and Gillian Lynn was adamant that the show would go on. And on the night, the penultimate show, we went on without the orchestra. And if you can imagine, a show like Cabaret really needs its musicians. It's music driven. And all the dancers who were so in precision with the counts and so they were synchronized. They were just brilliant. We had to go on to everyone, the beautiful girls in the chorus, the rest of the cast clicking their fingers to keep their time. So as you can imagine, I sang Life is a Cabaret to people in the wings doing that. But this caused such a stir. And I think there was quite bad weather outside as well, that news teams were turning up. We had the 10 o'clock news team, we had ITV, BBC, all regional press had turned up to see this show. And I remember walking on stage for the big opening number and seeing more camera lenses than people. And the following morning, oh gosh, the memories are flooding back. Jonathan Wayne, what have you done to me? I had to get a helicopter at 7 a.m. with the head of Radio 1, go up to Liverpool to start promoting Echo Beach off Desire, which was the first single off Desire. Helicopter took me up to Liverpool. I was exhausted because of all that had happened the night before. Did the show on an oil tanker in Liverpool dock, promoted Echo Beach, flew back, landed at Battersea Heliport at 1 o'clock, arrived at the theatre 1:30, world press outside the theatre. And as I got out the car to go in the stage door, a member of the press said to me, "How do you feel the show is closed?" I was heartbroken. heartbroken, and we all ran on stage, and Gillian Lynn was saying, we're going to barricade ourselves in. We're not leaving this theatre. I was just so exhausted and so confused. I can't remember if it was a Friday or a Saturday, but we thought we had a matinee, and we were all discussing on the stage whether we should barricade ourselves in the theatre. Oh, I love Gillian Lynn so much. And it was decided that was not realistic. And by this time I was on the campaign trail for Desire. I mean, I literally had to pack my dressing room and get whisked off to do Ruby Wax or something like that, because I was available all of a sudden. It was utterly heartbreaking. And, you know, West End theatre is not just the glamour that you see. It goes far deeper than that. And I'm amazed we don't get more films, entertainment movies made about being in the West End. We've seen it all about Broadway. The West End is just the same. So John Wayne, thank you so much for that question. And I will not mention the time when we had to barricade ourselves into a room at a swingers party because we thought we were going to a showbiz party. I won't mention that to people. Now, Christopher Stevens, you asked me, and this is such a lovely memory, when I did The Tempest, which is the Derek Jarman movie, I played Miranda in Shakespeare's Tempest, one of the best movies I have ever taken part in. You asked, did I meet Elizabeth Welsh and what was she like? Elizabeth Welsh was very, very famous for singing Stormy Weather. And it's a song that became associated with bad luck, rather interestingly. It's why you don't hear it covered that often, because it has this connection that it brings the singer bad luck. Well, I don't think it brought Elizabeth Welsh bad luck. We were at Stoneleigh Abbey, and Derek Jarman was so excited. It would be like me saying Bowie's coming to the set. And Derek was, Elizabeth's here, come and meet Elizabeth. And she was just gorgeous, lovely elderly lady, an absolute legend in her life. And she was excited and enjoying being adored, because everyone there adored her. If I have to give you an equivalent, it would be like Tina Turner turning up on the set of Quadrophenia. It would just be like, oh my God, it's Tina Turner. And she was gorgeous to work with, and she was dressed like a golden goddess. And she makes her entrance into the finale of The Tempest in this beautiful wedding finale between Miranda and Ferdinand. And she mimed, of course, to Stormy Weather, because you have to do that on film. And there was just such reverence and silence around her. And she was beautiful. I can't say I got to know her. I spent 2 days with her. She was frail and gorgeous. And unlike George Cukor, the director on The Corner Screen, and slightly unlike Laurence Olivier, she didn't tell stories of her life. She was very much in the moment, loving being there, loving how Derek had created this astonishing, illuminated set just for her. And she was there in the moment. And interestingly, that was a first for me, because often when you work with really famous people, they're connected to the past and the moment, and they very much talk about the past. And she didn't. She was enigmatic. It was gorgeous. So thank you very much, Christopher, for that question. Lance Timberlake, you have sent a fantastic question, and I've done quite a bit of research to give you an answer. You say that I've worked with Katharine Hepburn on The Corners Green, a film made in '79, and it's one of your favourite films, and you love the era of Katharine Hepburn. You love Joan Crawford, Barbara Stanwyck. And do I have an era I love in movies? Well, the answer is yes. And I want to recommend some movies to everybody. Obviously, I love Bette Davis. who can't love Bette Davis? But what I really adore about Bette Davis and Joan Crawford is the work they did when they hit their 50s, because you saw the survivor. And I adore survivors. I adore people who are aware of injustice around them. And I'm talking from a feminist point of view here, that within Hollywood didn't know what to do with women after the age of 30. And here you had these magnificent talents who were getting better and better and better. So Bette Davis, in films like The Anniversary, made in 1962, I think I've written down, fabulous. But when I looked this up, I didn't realise that Bette Davis was in a film called The Corner's Green, exactly the same film, 1945. That's incredible. I love Bette Davis in All About Eve. Beautiful black and white film. Marilyn Monroe makes one of her first appearances, and she is so sassy and clever in this very small scene she has. She steals it. Fabulous actors in these films. But I want to bring you back, or up closer to this time period, to the 60s. Now, I dressed Sylvia Sims when I was at drama school. I went to drama school in Birmingham, and to earn my keep and to pay for my drama school, I worked at the Alexander Theatre in Birmingham as a dresser. And for a week, I dressed Sylvia Sims. She was just breathtaking, taught me so much about theatre. And since then, I've obviously discovered her work. And her work in the late 50s is the best. It's breathtaking. There is a film she made called Woman in a Dressing Gown, 1957. Yvonne Mitchell is the lead, and it's a magnificent piece of acting. If you love acting and you watch films for the acting, Woman in a Dressing Gown, Yvonne Mitchell is a masterclass in holding tragedy. It's breathtaking. So she's playing the loving wife of Anthony Quayle, who has taken a younger mistress, Sylvia Sims. These three actors play their point of view with such sympathy that you end up loving them all, and that is so clever. I recommend that. And another movie that is utterly groundbreaking is Flames in the Street, 1961, and Sylvia Sims is the lead in it, and it's a romance between her and one of the Windrush generation. It is a staggeringly beautiful film. I'm recommending it to you because it's about a love affair between Sylvia Sims and a Windrush child. I'm hoping there's no outdated language in it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is one of those beautifully progressive films that were made in the 60s that just broke the mold of movies and made British movies so groundbreaking. And Sylvia Sims is a magnificent talent in it. And on another level, I would recommend Lulu Sidney Poitier in To Sir with Love, a breathtaking, groundbreaking film. Rita Tushingham, Taste of Honey. These films at the beginning of the 60s, what an era for making movies. So, Lance, thank you so much for that question. As you can tell, I am really passionate about early black and white films. Mark Evans, hello, how are you? Now, Mark, you say, I have had significant fame, but I seem to be unaffected by it. How have I kept myself sane when others have struggled? Well, Mark, I would definitely say at times I've struggled. Fame is kind of unnatural, and there's times where you feel so isolated, but there's also times where you feel so elated. It's just the most extraordinary experience to have. You never know where you stand. It can be very fickle, but I think what keeps me utterly sane, and I'm just going to show you out my window, is we do not live in a suburb of LA or Hampstead. We live on a very busy street. And all our windows, my office windows, my studio window, all look out onto that street. And for 20 years, I have seen this gorgeous piece of paradise change. You watch people shop. I've seen weddings, I've seen funerals, I've seen parties, I've seen drunks. One of my favourite memories out there was 17 years ago when this was a quiet backwater. There was roadworks on one of the pavements and there was a hole, and it was a Friday night and the workmen had just left barricading around the hole. And all the pubs here always run till 1 a.m, if not later. And I was in my office working and I saw this man in the dark stagger down the street, and he came up to the barrier of the roadworks and he literally, if that's his head, just went floop straight into the hole and never came out again. I thought, shall I go and check if he's okay? And he slept there for the night. This town is so eccentric, has the most wonderful people in it. We call it paradise. We absolutely love it. And there's going to be more about this town in the new year because it has a history with a very remarkable sighting. And we are starting to progress into that and to do things to, how can I put this? Bring focus into the history of this town to the world. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. It's so precious and we feel so safe here. And I think that keeps me grounded. And Mark, one of the things that probably stops me being too egotistical was in 1981, I was very egotistical and very naive. But when I was 12, my father lost everything. He became bankrupt. And when you see that happen to your parents, you develop common sense very quickly, and I don't think I've ever lost that common sense, and I'm constantly learning and constantly trying to find solutions to problems. Now this brings us to something I want to show you. I talked a while ago about the amount of darkness we have in this country during this time of year. And I've always dreaded this time of year because I love light and I work better in light. So we've created a night garden with our gardener, Matthew. And Robert and I went out into the night garden last night. And many people do this. Many people do this to their houses at Christmas and to their trees, but this is the first time we've done it. And we just want to show you the beginning of our night garden. It's not complete yet, but this is the beginning. So this is the beginning of our night garden. That actually is looking all the way down the garden by at least about 80 feet.
Oh, lovely. Further. That's 100 yards at the moment, at least. No, it's probably 200 yards.
It's added so much to our lives. I'm walking backwards now because we get so much darkness in this country, and I never look forward to the darkness. But now we've thought of this, we're finding ourselves really looking forward to this season, and we're out here with a glass of Prosecco.
This is so much fun. This is so much fun. Christmas is close.
Yes, it is.
I love you, little wife.
I love you, fruitcake.
Is this for your chums at home?
Yeah.
Hello, chums. Hello, chums. And I haven't even had a tipple yet. This is so exciting. Look, I can't tell you how exciting this is. For a man who's been on the road for 51 years, to be at home with my wife on a consistent basis is joy. To be at our home in this time, interesting times, but things are really, my gut is saying they're going in a wonderful place. Shall I shut up now, dear?
So that's the night garden, and it means that we can look out over the garden from 4 p.m. till we go to bed. I go to bed about 1 a.m, and I see the garden. I don't see blackness, I see light, and it's helped me enormously, and we are going to take it further. So before I go, I just want to mention to you, because Christmas is coming up, the post is going to get busy. We are loving doing these. I create this for Robert. It takes about 2 days, the process of layering the metal leaf, and then Robert does an aphorism. And then for each order that I get, I have to hide that because it's for someone, I draw these and then do the request. You can see this online. You can request messages, lyrics for your loved ones. But Christmas is coming up, and if you want to order one and get it for Christmas, please think about it sooner rather than later. So we're going to go out with the wonderful Toyah band at the brilliant Islington O2. Can't wait to play there again. And this is about you and me, and it's called We Are. Enjoy. We'll see you tonight for Toyah and Robert's Agony Aunts, and tomorrow for Toyah and Robert's Sunday lunch. We love you. Stay engaged. Do not suffer alone, and reach out. We are thinking of you. Lots of love from Toyah. My husband's downstairs cooking me lunch. I'm sure he'll shout, "We love you too." Bye for now. This is a word in your ear. Can you hear? We will come for your minds. We walk the streets on and on, hand in hand with charm and chance. We are the chosen ones. We are of moon and sun. We are lots of fun. We are the golden ones. We move, we dance, we sing, we must live. We are the chosen ones. We are painted. We are of moon and sun. We are painted boys. We are lots of fun. We are liberators. We are the golden ones. We are the chosen ones. We move, we dance, you see, we touch, we buzz into blaze. This is a word in your ear.